We've got quite a few questions as usual, and we'll get to those. But I want to kind of get back to this topic. Would you want your wife to work if she relocates to your country? And guys, one of the most important things I think you can do, and I think Dina would agree with this, is that when you are in the process of her coming over, is to have some serious discussions about what life looks like through her eyes when she gets here. What she expects, what she wants to do. Does she want to come here and work? Dina didn't necessarily want to come here and work right away. You want to build a family, stay at home, take care of the children.
Yes. So yes, of course, before even start the process, do you mean start process like fiancé visa? Before that,
even before that,
like on the third maybe date.
Third date? Well, yeah, for Dina, because they were engaged by the second date. So
hurry up, so make sure you're on the same page with her.
Yeah, talk about it, because things are different. When I met Tanya, she was doing real estate. I said, Tanya, do you want to do real estate when you come over? She says, I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to do. And I said, okay, but you got to be thinking about it. She goes, yeah. And then she came, and she stayed at home for a while, and she was happy, for a few months. And then for Tanya's personality, she needed to be out more. She needed to go out more. So she wanted to get into some kind of work. So she worked for us for a while here, but then she still needed more, I think. And so she, after about a year or two, was able to start getting into the real estate and had to take the test, and that's a whole new language. I mean, for someone coming from a foreign country, I mean, APR, loans, I mean, it was all cash back in Russia back then, right? You didn't have all these mortgage companies and all that. It was a totally different dynamic. And that's something to think about, guys, because if she does something there, how easy is it going to translate here, right? And what does she have to do to be successful at it? And it took Tanya a while to get through the real estate school, but she did, and she did great. And then she learned how everything works, and then she was able to do very well. She was like Rookie of the Year, one of her first years with a high-end real estate company here in Phoenix. Doing great, making more money than I did, I think, that year, and that was fantastic. I was not intimidated by that at all. I'm like, hey, you go, girl. Make that happen. But some guys might have a problem with that. I know, because I've had clients who have said, no, I don't want her to work at all. I want her to stay home. I don't want her doing that. And some of that could be a problem. If that's an insecurity that you have, and you're going to go overseas, you're going to marry someone, and you really don't want them to be working because you're worried maybe they'll meet someone, maybe they'll get westernized. I hear that, like, what does that even mean? Like cityfied, all that stuff. So, I mean, was AJ against you working, or was it your decision?
No, he wasn't against. No, it was my decision.
Right.
Of course.
Right,
yes.
and that's good.
He didn't care really.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be.
Maybe even thought, okay, if you work, we'll have more money coming in.
Right.
So
yeah, that's.
He didn't. I don't remember he even say anything, because we were on the same page. We want a family, we want to raise kids, and of course we stay home. I enjoy it. So, and I do a lot of Skypes with the girls, and actually guys asking girls, what would you like to do? And some girls say, I don't know, it's different country, I don't know what I'm going to do. And other girls say, yeah, I want to do such and such, so I want to go work right away. But just the problem is that she cannot work right away, because she will need some paperwork and green card first. But a lot of business is online now, and she might transfer her business. She might still work from home here.
Right.
It's easier now, I think.
Absolutely. Definitely possible. All right. Let's get into a few questions. So Mike says, from Fort Worth State, Texas country. I bet you he's got a pair of boots.
I bet.
May we have another men's shoe contest? So Mike wants another contest. I think we're going to wait a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll wait. We'll see how many guys would like to have that shoe contest.
Scott says, I'm from Cedarburg, Wisconsin. I met John at the Chicago seminar in November of 2019. Those were the days. Going to a seminar in person, the fine food that we had at those seminars. It was wonderful. Chicago, I loved going to Chicago because they got great restaurants and stuff there. I'm interested in an individual tour to Playa later this summer or early fall. I have a list of questions I'd like to ask about logistics. Can you give me some contact info for a person with whom I can connect? I think you might want to start with Anna, because she deals with the individual travelers. I think she's going to be pretty busy over the next several months, because I think that's mainly what we're going to be doing is individual traveling as opposed to group. But you can reach her at travel@loveme.com. Okay, and then she can answer all your questions. She'll email back. All right. Oh, David wants to know, how do you hook into the live webcast? I don't see an activation button. I don't know, Kirk, that's almost a question for you.
Just plays.
Just plays.
You asked that before the show started.
Oh, that was before. Okay, yeah. You should be watching us now, hopefully, David. See, and David, maybe this is the same David, suburb of Houston. You got a lot of guys from Texas. What is this, like a whole Texas thing? By the way, guys, I lived in Hereford, Texas. If anybody ever heard of that town, what can I say? I mean, it's a very, very small town. More cattle than people, but it was fun. 6 o'clock in the evening, the wind would blow, and you get this wonderful aroma from the stockyards of all the manure from the cows. It was, yeah, it was not good. Anyways, David says, it's entirely up to my future wife at her discretion. What do you think of that, Dina?
Yes, absolutely. I agree. So
It's the way it should be, right?
Totally up to her.
You know, guys, here's a little tip, and I know some of you are a little bit old school, but you know, if you try to put constraints or conditions on your wife when she comes over here, like, well, you know, you can't go out without me at night, or I don't want you to work, I want you to stay home. Those kind of things tend to drive a wedge and I think push her further away than having trust. Because why would you bother marrying someone if you don't have trust? I mean, what's the point? So, you know, if you're going to marry someone and worry that she's going to find someone better when you bring her over here, then my advice to you is don't marry her in the first place. Why would you? You should have a love, you should have a relationship that you believe in, that can withstand her meeting some guy who has more money than you do or who's better looking than you are. Because let's face it, there's always going to be someone out there with more money, unless you're maybe Bill Gates or Zuckerberg or one of those guys. There's always going to be someone with more money than you. And unless you're someone like myself, there's always going to be someone who's better looking than you. But you know me, I mean, yeah, right. Some guys, and it's a small fraction, are a little, I don't know, just concerned about that. And so they want to put on more controls. And I think when you do that, you kind of do the opposite. I don't know, what would you say to that, Dina? Would you
Absolutely. If you pull your string too hard, it will break. So, yeah, no pressure, absolutely.
Yeah.
She should decide, and when you choose a girl, of course, you should pay attention to that and ask her questions, what she would like to do, and if she would like to do that and that. So, yes, pay attention when you're dating.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, another tip is that usually when she is going out and doing what she wants to do and feeling accomplished and has her sense of identity, it's not all wrapped up in you, especially when she's in a foreign country at first, because a lot of times she is going to be very much dependent on you for social interaction, for just learning how everything works, you know, getting oriented and assimilated into the country. But once she starts going off and doing her own thing, she's going to feel great about herself, which is going to make her really happy. And, you know, that old saying, you know, happy wife, happy life. And so if she's happy, then the whole marriage is going to be happier, right? And she's not going to be all caught up. And so at the end of the day, when she's home from work, you're home from work, you can talk about what happened. You can talk about the day, if that's the way that, you know, both of you want to live. Now, like Dina, you know, she wanted to be home for the first 10 years or so, have children, raise children, and do all those things, and she did that. That made Dina happy, right?
Right.
So, yeah, it just depends on, and that's probably one of the most difficult things anyone can do anyway, is taking care of 2 kids, raising them, and
Yeah,
dealing
that's
with
a
that.
full job.
That is a
you
full
know.
job, absolutely. Okay, so Blue says, it would depend on her age. If she's my age, it would be up to her. If she's younger and has a kid, then most likely is I'm not rich, and it would help make ends meet. Yeah, Blue, I mean, that's something too. See, that is the thing you need to talk about when you're in the dating process, like Dina says, before the fiance visa. You know, if it's a financial concern, and it really is a financial concern, then you need to talk about that with her. Be absolutely honest, say, well, this is kind of where I'm at, and this is what would work best, I think. And a lot of times the woman will buy into it just fine. And if she doesn't, then you know that might not be the best match for you. But I think that's really important. You know, I did a little bit of, research. We've been doing this now for a while, so I know that, let's say that you were to marry a doctor, and she comes here. Can she just start practicing right away? Well, no. Obviously, she's going to have to go through something. But actually, if you are a foreign physician interested in practicing medicine here in the U.S., then you do have to prepare to pass the U.S. medical licensing exams and then get certified by the Educational Commission for Foreign Trained Medical Graduates, okay? And then enroll in a residency program and then take a third licensing test. So you have some hoops to jump through. But a lot of your previous education in that foreign country will transfer many times to the US, and you don't have to go through the whole process again of all the schooling. But you do have to go through some and through a residency again to practice as a doctor. So that's one thing. We get that question a lot. Also about attorneys. Well, can she just practice here when she comes? And again, depending on what state, because every state has its own, and that's the same for doctors as well. There's national, and then there's the state-specific requirements that you're going to have to fulfill. But the education will usually transfer if it's a foreign-trained lawyer and that has completed a program with at least 3 years in duration and was focused on English common law. Then you can just sit for the bar after receiving an advanced evaluation of their eligibility from the board. So not that difficult, really. And I know lawyers like Maria, who actually practices here in Phoenix and has a very successful practice. And she was an attorney in Moscow. And she met her husband. She moved here, and then she was able to get her past the bar exam here, and now she practices here and is very successful. So it certainly can transfer. A lot of the education can transfer to whatever you do. And even with Tanya, with real estate, her knowledge from that field transferred here. Not so much the educational credits, she didn't really need that, but the knowledge of how to deal with people, how to deal with doing real estate, transferred rather well, I think, for her. Okay. Let's keep going here. Where was I? McKissick says, to answer the poll question, it depends. I'm studying law, and so during the formative years of my new law practice, I would offer her employment in the firm, either as a paralegal or reception. What do you think about working with your mate?
Yes, I think it's a good idea, so you don't have to really go to school.
Right.
And you can run your business both. I think it's a great idea, if you have your business and she can work with you. Yes, I think it's a good idea.
Can be. I think it can be, although you got to remember you're working and living with your spouse. So you have to be able to get along really, really well and separate work from home. Because when spouses work together, sometimes it can be problematic. That's the only thing I would say. But I agree with Dina. I think it's a good thing. My mother and father had owned a restaurant bar, and they worked separate shifts. My father would work the night shift, my mother worked the day shift. They never saw each other for 20 years. It was great. As soon as they sold that and they were together, they got a divorce. So something said for that, I guess. I don't know. It's very interesting. All right. Let's see here. Because it says, as far as her working independent of me, I would prefer she do independent contracting work, such as cosmetology or Uber, Lyft. Of course, when I hit it big, she has the option of being a stay-at-home mom. I would prefer she stay home with the kids, at least until they are 8 or so. As a lawyer, obviously, it would behoove me to have a multilingual wife, especially if I do immigration work. So she could be very helpful. And that was one of the things I really liked, and this is something to think about too, guys. I mean, some of the clients say, well, I really don't want her to work because I like to travel a lot. I have a job that ties her down to where we can't just take off and go to her country or go someplace else. And that's one of the reasons I really like the fact that Tanya was doing real estate, because with the real estate, she is an independent contractor basically, and she can just come and go fairly easily. She could leave for 2 weeks at a time and still, have someone watch her listings or whatever. So that was a really perfect field for her, especially since she traveled with me quite a bit at that time, going to the foreign countries. So that's something to think about too. These are all things to really think about when you're meeting someone, because it's going to impact your life. When she comes over here, I call it the dirty underwear stage, but this is when real life happens, right? You're doing laundry, you're working, you're figuring things out. It's not all the goo-goo eyes at the restaurant over candlelit, champagne dinner. This is real life, and real life is a little different.
So also in Russia and Ukraine, maternity leave is till kids are 3 years old.
Really?
So yes, and they're used to that. So, and it's okay for her at least staying 3 years home.
That's true,
So,
and I know
yes.
that because we've had some that work for us in Russia.
So there'll be no questions if you guys want to have a kid, and she will probably stay with the kid 3 years at least at home, and then probably she will think to go to work. Yes.
Yeah, and that's cool. And I think it would be really neat if we did more of that here in the U.S. I think we could learn from some of that, because that's a really important formative time.
Yes.
And to be able to stay home for 3 years and have that kind of support with a federal maternity leave like that is cool. And that's normal.
Yes, it was normal. It was difficult for me to understand here when some moms say, "Oh, I have to go back to work in 10 weeks." I said, "Who's going to stay with that little bitty kid?
Yeah.
He needs you so much." But say yes, it's it is what it is. Daycare.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why it's so important to travel, guys. You learn so much more about the world. I mean, we do things here and we think this is just the way everyone does it, but it's not. I mean, there's so many things that are done differently in so many different countries, some better, some not. But it's good to see it and to go and experience it. It really is. All right. Speaking of experiences, Dina, we have a video that was done recently, an interview of one of the women, I guess her experience with our service or something along those lines. I haven't seen the clip yet, but I hear it's very interesting. Kirk tells me it's great, and we're going to show a couple of them, I guess, tonight.
Yeah, let's see them.
So let's start with one of them, Kirk, and see if we can get that on. And
hello, Yulia. I'm glad
There it
that
is.
you came today to have a coffee with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you for inviting me for today's interview. Yes, I'm working as a vet, but I hope to meet my future husband, maybe from abroad. That's why I'm here. I love my job, absolutely, because it gives me satisfaction. I like active lifestyle, active lifestyle, way of life.
So you're a really active person.
Yes, I can say
what
that.
do you do for fun?
For fun, I play my guitar, I go hiking, I love camping a lot, especially I adore waking up somewhere at the beach early in the morning and looking how the sun rises.
So you're early bird. You wake up with the sunrise.
Yes, I'm an early riser. I have a dog and he controls my sleep. Every day I have to wake up early in the morning and take him out. And of course in the evening. And this is some sort of responsibility and as I call it, a training camp for my future
For kids.
kids when
Yes,
I have
it's
them.
a big training camp. Trust
Yes,
me.
yes.
Do you like to travel?
I love traveling, yes. It's always nice exploring new worlds, new countries, new people. You learn something new all the time.
What type of the man you need?
As any woman in this world, I want someone reliable, trustworthy, without cockroaches in his head.
We all have cockroaches in head. You know?
Of course, nobody is perfect, and I'm not searching for a perfect person in this world because I realize that every one of us has their own drawbacks. I think the most important is communication between two people. If they find common language, they will always succeed, plus common interest. If you look in one direction, it will be easier for you to follow with your partner and to find somebody who will match your criteria.
About your criteria, do you want to have kids? What is your view on a family? What do you expect from the family?
Well, like any woman in my age, I have never been married, and of course, I'd like to have a full family, but it depends. If my future husband, for example, has children, I'll accept them as mine, and we can always discuss whether we want to have children together, because this is not only my decision. I will discuss it with my future beloved or man who will hopefully want, but we will see. I cannot say no, I want children for sure, or I don't want them. At the moment, I can say that I will
Right now
discuss this with my future.
Right now, you're enjoying your life, and
Yes, I have a dog, so for me, it's my child
you have
already.
somebody to take care of.
Yes, absolutely. And he loves me, and I love him, so it's
What you
important.
can tell to guys who's in the United States right now, or all over the world, Australia, United Kingdom, Canada, Europe, New Zealand, guys watching us all over the world, what can you tell them?
I can tell them not to be afraid of coming to Ukraine, because here we are waiting for you. We are very warm people. When you come over here, you will see how free this world is, and this will be maybe one of the most favorite places for you to come again and again. And I know many stories of men who got married with Ukrainian women, and they are absolutely happy, because Ukrainian women family-oriented, very feminine, not arrogant. The majority, of course. I do not speak about everybody. We have a saying in Ukrainian language: if to be afraid of wolves, then why to go into the forest? Don't be afraid of wolves whom you have never seen. Go into this forest, and maybe you will find the best mushroom for yourself.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Yulia. I'm glad that you came today to have a coffee with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for inviting me for today's interview. Yes, I'm working as a vet, but I hope to meet my future husband, maybe from abroad. That's why I'm here.
Guys, she's single. She's sitting in the Ukraine. She seemed wonderful, didn't she?
Yeah, she's precious and waiting for you guys.
Yeah.
Come there, don't be afraid, she said.
Yeah.
You're open minds, they're not gonna bite you, so. And you know what's interesting? So if you ask Ukrainian or Russian girl, so what man you looking for? First, they'll say reliable. That's just, it is what it is, guys. Not handsome guys, they're looking for reliable guys, so.
Right.
Yes.
And that's probably partly because of what's going on in the Ukraine, the instability of it, right? And
Yes.
not having
We're
that
so
reliable.
sick of not guys being reliable, so they're looking for that guy.
Yeah.
No stability there, so that very scary where there's no stability
And
for
she-
the life, for the relationship, for the family, because you have to raise kids, so that's very important.
Absolutely. All right, so Ryan says, I would support her while she gets settled into American life and learns English. I would also let her stay at home until the kids are in school. After that, she can work. Okay. See that just right? Great guy, I'm sure, but the way you wrote that, I would let her stay at home. This has to be a mutual decision, right? I mean, you want her and you to talk about this, and because it really shouldn't be her letting you do something or you letting and the two. I mean, what do you think about that?
I don't think he meant to write like
All right,
that.
maybe I'm putting too much into it
Yes,
that way. But
and probably she will want to go work herself after kids go to school, because it's like an empty nest. So yes,
Well, that's what
pretty
you did,
sure.
pretty much.
Yes. So pretty sure she will want to go work. Maybe if she's a doctor, she probably not going to be a doctor. It's really difficult. So it's a lot of studying, but do something. She'll always find.
And I think it's great, Ryan, that you're willing to support her especially during those first couple years when she's getting used to American life. And it is going to be different for her. And she's going to learn a lot, and you're going to learn a lot. And that first year or two, it's kind of like building a house. It's like that foundation. And it's really important that that foundation is strong. And I can't stress that enough. And I'm sure I could have done a much better job even on those first couple years, but giving her as much by leaving everybody she knows, leaving her country, coming over and doing that. It must have been hard for you, Dina. I mean, when you did everything.
Absolutely, it's hard. It's easier when I think then you're ready to go anywhere, But yes, it's hard to leave family. That's difficult. But if you have somebody to support, who's supporting you, that's easier.
Okay, Greg says it would be completely up to her. She wants to work good for her. Yeah, that's great. And look, guys, sometimes it might be something like volunteer work, right? Charitable work, something like that. Maybe she's not even getting paid, but she's helping, doing things, working at a school, maybe her kid's school. She's helping them out a few hours a day. It doesn't have to be, where she's in the job. She has to be there every day and do everything. There's a lot of different ways that she can get fulfillment other than just what's going on in the house. And sometimes women want that. So it just depends. Okay. Let's see. Anchorman says, I work from home, so if she's a massage therapist, I would love for her to stay home for a while. I'd love to have a massage therapist at home too. I don't know. Sounds good, right?
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah. Brian wants to know, can we exchange the dollar in Ukraine or do we have to do it in the U.S.? And how much money is needed for the dates? To answer the poll question, 2 incomes is always better than 1, of course. When we start a family, she won't be working. I will take care of the rest. Yeah. All right, Brian. Well, that makes sense. That's good. For the exchange of money, you really can't exchange the dollar here. You want to do it in the Ukraine, right? So wait till you get to the Ukraine, then you'll exchange exchange the dollars into the hryvnia once you get there. And the staff will tell you where to go to get the best exchange rate. How much money is needed for the dates? I don't know. What do you think? How much do they need for the dates?
I have no idea. I've never been there.
Well, I would say that it's going to be kind of similar to what you would spend here. I mean, a little bit less expensive, a lot less expensive for transportation and things like that, and a little less expensive for some of the restaurants, depending on where you go. If you listen to us and you do our preferred list, I mean, you go on a date for somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't know, it just depends on what you're doing. If it's just an informal date where you're going for lunch, $10, $15. If it's a more formal, nice dinner, then you're probably looking at $50, something like that, in that neighborhood, somewhere around there. Okay. Mark wants to know, John, Dina, how is the tour looking for Cebu with this whole COVID-19 situation? Yeah, we didn't talk about Cebu when I was going on everything about COVID. And talking still up in the air still. I give it a 50-50. Of course, I gave the one in July a 50-50 a while ago, and now I don't think we're going to be able to do it. So I don't know. My guess is only that. It's a guess. But we shall see as we get closer. But right now, I would say the one tour that's looking like it might go ahead of everyone else is Thailand. I think we may be able to do the Thai tour without too much of a problem. One of the biggest problems we're going to have, guys, is that we're coming from a country with a lot of cases. We have, I think, the most cases in the world. And a lot of other countries don't want people from here going there because they're afraid that we're going to affect everybody there. So they're imposing that 14-day quarantine. And it's easy enough to say, I'll just go tell them I'm going to quarantine and take off. Well, some of them are putting apps on your phone and they'll actually track you. Or if you do go and there's not an app on your phone, but they find out that you're out, they could arrest you, they can fine you, they can do all these things, and you're in a foreign country. Even in our own country, in Hawaii, I'm told that you have to quarantine if you're coming from certain states. And there have been people who've been fined and arrested for we gotta be careful. All right. Chuck says, yes, but part-time only if she does not have a professional skill. So she has friends outside the home. Yeah, because it is a way to make friends. Working, you meet a lot of people, you have more social networks and things like that. And then she also has her own small amount of money. That's a self-respect issue. Again, I agree with that. And helps her to get used to America besides just a single opinion in the home. Yeah, I totally agree. So she gets a lot more exposure to people here, and that's important. It really is for people to grow and not just be in the house all the time, only talking to you and your opinion about everything. It's much better that she, is out there interacting with other people. Much better for you too. It really is. I think that's great. Good answer there, Chuck in Denver. Centipede, I had COVID-19 over a temperature of 119 Fahrenheit. I'm not going to say more. 119? Can you even live at that?
Wow.
That's awful, awful high. Oh my God. Yeah, not good. Okay, Blue says, oh man, I was getting excited for you. Wanting to go to Colombia. Hey, I'm ready to go to Colombia next month. I'm like, no, they're not going to be open by then. You can't go. Oh, he was very disappointed. Johnny says, I hope my wife would want to work. I don't need her money, but she could use it to buy herself nice clothes, a nice car, or send some home to her family, whatever she wanted to do with it. And then that is kind of cool too. It gives her more autonomy, which I think is important. It's nice. I know that Dina wants to buy a car. She has a Tesla in her future.
Yes.
So, yeah. Okay. Mark says, I would leave it up to the woman if she wants to work or not if she comes to the United States. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah, let's see here. Blue says, September is my birthday month, so I get to give myself a big birthday present. Gotta look at the bright side. Yes, and I'm hoping that in September we can do it. Okay, I don't know what September is going to hold. I don't know what's going to happen. It just seems that the summer tours for June and July, maybe August, are going to be very difficult. I know July doesn't seem like we're going to be able to do any tours in July. We'll have to see about August, maybe in Cebu, maybe in Thailand. It's a very strange year. I mean, so many things going on. It's crazy. Okay, let's see here. 119. September is the best time of the year to tour Ukraine. I like September. It's a shoulder season. It's cooler. It's nice. I like it. Okay, let's see. McKissick wants to know if we currently have tours to the Dominican Republic. We do not currently. Hi, John Adams. I'm looking for a Ukraine girl. I'm from Massachusetts. This is John. Well, good. I'm glad you're looking for a woman from the Ukraine. They're wonderful. We just got to get you over there, John.
While we're here.
Yeah. Chuck's got a good idea. How about a best necktie contest? I don't know. What do you think, Dina?
I'm not very good with neckties. I
You
don't like them personally, so
You don't
I'm
like the
not
ties?
very good with that. How about Tanya? Maybe we'll invite
Tanya might come in.
judge.
Tanya might be able to come in and judge that. That's a good idea. We'll see. Yeah, okay. Well, think about that. That's a good one. All right. John says, I want to move to Texas. California is too expensive. Okay. Well, we have a lot of guys from Texas. You'll be in good company. Patrick. Wants to work as well, but with the COVID-19, we put this on hold as the COVID-19 is bad and my wife and I are not sure about getting her started work, as we cannot even get her driver's license now as well. Hopefully everything will get better soon for my wife can work and all countries will open up for the guys too, from Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. I really appreciate that. It's great that you still watch even after you are now married, which is a wonderful thing, and your input is always welcomed because you have great experience, obviously, from doing this. And yeah, this COVID-19 is making a lot of things difficult. Discover Tubes says it could be a deal breaker if the woman wants to work or not, so it should be negotiated before committing. Yeah, it could be a deal breaker. All right. Elliot, I do not want any more children, so yes, if she wants to work to support our new life, for instance, would travel, then that would be brilliant. Yeah, world travel is wonderful. And if she's working all the time, it's kind of hard to do. That's what I was saying with Tanya with real estate. It was a job that she could do when she wanted to, or she could just leave when she wanted to. Those are the best, I think. Elliot says, I do not want any more children. So yes, wait, we did that already. While doing her equivalencies and is now a doctor at Kaiser in San Francisco. Fantastic, yeah, it happens. All right, Mark just logged in and wants to know about the latest news on the July socials in Ukraine. Assume probably you'll have to cancel them. Also, since not seeing any of us being able to travel there soon, especially leaving the U.S. and returning, as I've changed my flight 2 times already, and I hold now, and not really heard anything about opening up international travel. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Mark, and we are going to, it absolutely appears, and I'll probably do it tomorrow, but we're going to have to cancel those July tours. It's so hard for me to keep saying that, but we're going to have to cancel
First
those
time,
July
right?
tours.
Like
Yeah, I
in
know.
25 years.
Yeah, we just never did it before.
Weird time, guys. But we'll have many more. September, maybe we'll have
We
2,
will, I'm hoping.
3.
Let's hope so. We'll see what happens with September. Let's take a break here, and since we're talking about the Ukraine and trying to get over there, let's take a look at another clip that we just did. This is fresh new video, guys, never seen before, and we're going to see another interview, I think, with Anne.
Guys, tell us a little bit. Hello, Irina. I'm glad that you came today to have coffee with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself first.
I am single girl from Ukraine and I am in a dating site because I want to find my future husband, to beloved man, to build a lovely family, enjoy life together, travel, hold hands.
What do you like to do in your free time, and what is your lifestyle?
I like to do a very active lifestyle. I do sport,
I see you really fit.
fitness. Thank you. I try to look good for my future husband, and also I try to improve every day. I like to do sport, I do fitness, yoga 3-4 times a week. I'm very social. I like to spend time with my friends and the family. I like to cook. I enjoy to try new things, to cook dishes from all different countries.
You like different cuisines, so you...
Yes. I like to eat all different type of food. That's why I like to travel in all different countries.
I know you lived in the United States before, if you don't mind asking.
Much because it's a mix of people from all over the world, and it's very interesting because in the same country you can meet people from everywhere, you can enjoy food from everywhere. Also, I like American nature. I like all of these beautiful parks, mountains, ocean.
Yes, you're right. It's a very beautiful place to visit. They have everything, probably. What is the perfect man for you?
We're not perfect, and everybody have our strong side and the weak side. But for me, I really want to fall in love with family-oriented man. I want to build a family, enjoy life, just have a normal, happy life together. Ukrainian woman is the best woman in the world. Don't waste your time. Just come here and find your beloved wife.
And I can tell that this beautiful lady, she will not stay single forever, guys. So if you want to meet them, you should buy the flight and come here as soon as the flight will be open. Thank you, Irina, for coming. I really enjoyed talking with you. I'm really happy that you're not afraid to come and have a cup of coffee with us.
I am also happy very much for inviting me here to give an interview.
Okay.
See, guys, I didn't lie. So, see beautiful girls, and she said Ukrainian girls, the most beautiful girls in the world. So, it's
And also, Dina, she said, again, like you said, that she's looking for a family-oriented man, just wants to find a nice man, have a nice family, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's all girls looking for that. So,
Yeah.
and if you guys want the same family and you know, if you're a reliable man, so go there, meet your girl. They're waiting for you, especially after that COVID. There are going to be a lot of single girls, they say. Going to be a lot of divorces too.
A lot of divorces, hey.
Yes. I mean, it's local guys.
Oh, local
with
guys.
Local guys.
Yeah, possible. All right, so David is asking, he's saying, older man, 53. Oh, David, you're not that old. All right, but okay, 53. How difficult will it be to find a potential wife 45 plus? And you're 53? How
Come
difficult?
on,
Is there a
come
particular
on.
Ukrainian city
I
that
thought
might
you
let us
were
know to
gonna
my
say
search?
18 plus.
Yeah, I mean, that's only like less than a 10-year age difference. That's like an 8-year age difference. I'm missing something here, David. I don't know, but that is nothing. 45, you're 53. You know, that's almost like Tanya and I. Really, Tanya and I have a 9-year age difference, and it's fine. It works. Although she complains I'm too old once in a while when she gets mad at me. But no, all in all, it works very well. So I think you can go anywhere. I don't know. What do you think, Tina?
Yes, absolutely. That's nothing. We are really trying to talk to clients. Do not go over 20 years old difference.
Yeah.
So 20-year age difference here is nothing. Yes, me and AJ have 8 years old difference. So
I would say you'd be
8
fine
years.
at early 40s.
You can go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, even late 30s. I mean, you're fine. Not a
Yeah.
problem. All right. McKissick says, regarding the poll question, every situation is different. These women impress me as being go-getters, and so I don't think most of them would be happy as stay-at-home wives unless kids are young. Yeah, well, again, like Dina says, every situation is definitely different. I mean, Dina loves to work. She's here all the time. She's doing stuff. She worked, by the way, guys, while she was at home, too. I mean, you were doing some stuff
Yes,
for
I
us with
did.
translations for years while you were at home.
Yeah, and it's like it's always good to have a part-time job, so you can be with kids and work a little bit and have your own money. It's always will work good.
But the women are, a lot of them have to be go-getters because they're in the Ukraine. They're not getting much. And her son, because she was getting no help from anyone else. And so she had to make it happen, and she's out there. Her mother was taking care of her son, who was very young, while she went out and worked. And they worked together as a team to do what they had to do to make that happen. And, you know, that's not easy to do. I can think of one case where this woman, she was a translator. She worked really, really hard. And she met this wonderful guy, and he was a very successful attorney. And he married her and brought her back and gave her everything that she could possibly want, right? So she didn't have to work anymore. She could sleep in, eat the bonbons, watch TV. Didn't even need to learn to drive because she had a limo driver that would take her wherever she wanted to go. They had a child together. But she grew, I think, in a way to resent him for it. And he didn't do it intentionally, but her whole identity got wrapped up in him. And she no longer was doing all the stuff she did before. And I think there was a void that she had. And even though he was doing his best to try to make that all good, they ended up getting a divorce. It's a sad story, but I think it felt more fulfillment from inside. So these are things, this is complicated stuff, guys. This is, I always say, this is not Disneyland for men, where everything is just perfect and the sun's shining all the time. And this is real life. And I don't care about all these things, especially when you do bring someone from a foreign country and how that person then I get yelled at. So a lot of times it's not just about fixing the problem, it's about understanding it more and working as a team. This girl all done, but get over there and make something happen when you can. Decisions. If you are in love, you support each about
Especially
supporting.
international marriage. It's before she even can start work. So at least a year before her all paperwork is done, before she have a green card, she won't be able to work even if she wants to. Unless she has her online business and she can work from home online, it's possible. But don't time with her to think about if she would like to work or not. First of all, she will come here and she will need your support. You need to spend as much time as you can with her to show her around. Maybe you need to find Russian, will need friends, some, people to talk with. She will want to do Skypes with her family. So you need to think about it all. So don't think about her work right away. So she will need time to adjust first here.
So Barry says, love the interview. Wish I was younger. Turning like this, but maybe with an older age group. Be interested to hear their views. Yeah, I think from all different age groups that are on the site. And I know we have some interviews with some of the women that are older. As a matter of fact, we just did an interview with a woman who's almost 50, who just married a gentleman about 3 weeks ago. And that's on the site now. You can find it somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but it's on the site. And I think it's when you log in. Is it still on that login page?
I think I saw login for somebody was there.
The interview we did. So we kind of put that there for now, and then it'll get moved with the other videos. And she gives some really good insight. So yeah, you might want to take a look at that. Okay. I think you did the translation.
Yes, I did.
Helped with the translation because he spoke Russian, so it was easy for him to go over and meet her. But she doesn't really speak much English, but his Russian's really good. So. All right. James wants to know: can Visa or MasterCard be used the whole trip to take care of expenses rather than having to exchange currencies? It's a little risky to do that. If you go over with a Visa or MasterCard, I would still bring some cash just in case, because in some cases, Visa or MasterCard will, for some reason, turn off your card while you're there because you're in a foreign country and they think there might be fraud or something, or all kinds. So I would not travel anywhere in the world relying solely on a credit card. I would always take another means of paying in cash with me, and maybe you need it, maybe you don't. There are safes in all the rooms where we go, and you can put your cash in the safe when you're there, but I would take some cash just in case. But most of the things that you're going to be doing, you can use your credit card for, the majority of them. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then Austin says, good evening, John and Dina. I touched base with Anna in Odessa the other day about the 14-day self-quarantine, and she mentioned that if you pass a test at the airport, you would not need to do the 14-day self-isolation. Can you clarify? Thanks. By the way, my shoes would always win the contest, especially with both of them being different colors. Funny, Austin.
We
Funny.
would like to see them, Austin.
Austin's, I think it's the Austin I'm thinking of. He's a great guy. He was on the tour with us. I do not believe that's an option. I've heard that could be an option, but from what I'm seeing, they're required. Who's coming from a red country, and we're a red country. So
Could be in Odessa, but in Kiev could be different, rules.
It's possible, but I thought those
necessary.
were countrywide rules, but I'm not positive about that, but it could be.
And maybe for local people, even not from.
Yeah, maybe
foreign.
depending on what, like if you're coming from Europe, maybe.
Yeah.
But from the U.S., I don't think so. Yeah. Francis says, do not need her money, but makes as much as you want. Then she can buy me really nice shoes. Yeah, hey. My wife buys mainly all my clothes with her money. It's amazing. She's wonderful. I love that. Yeah, but, I try, it really should be a community pot, so it really shouldn't matter. Barry says, as far as the poll question, by the time I go over due to COVID and getting K1, I will be retired, and I'm lucky enough to be able to live comfortably. I prefer not to work, but open to part-time. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, part-time, like Dina said, is always good. Chris says, any thoughts on when you might start tours to Mexico? I know ladies there are limited and it's growing. Yeah, I would like to try to do something next year. Obviously, I'm not going to add any more tours this year because it's a crazy year. And we can get a tour there, I would hope.
Yay! Finally,
I
Playa
know.
del Carmen.
We need one there in Playa. It's going to be a blast.
Oh my God.
All right. As long as you both talk about your expectations and not try to be controlling of your woman, it can be great. Yeah. That's kind of the point that we're trying to get across tonight, really, is, that controlling behavior, both from a woman and a man.
Never works. Yeah, that's
It's just not good.
no, especially for international dating. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard on her even to come here, to leave her family behind, and controlling is just going to be disaster.
No one wants to be controlled. And so, that's why it's so important to choose wisely and to get a really good understanding of what you're getting involved with, who you're getting involved with, and what issues they may have, what they want to do, all those different things, so that you can understand whether or not you do want to compromise, whether or not you do want to be on the same page as that. Because if you think, okay, she's so hot, I don't care, I can get her to change. You're not going to get her to change. That's the problem. People don't really change very easily. So pretty much what you see is what you're going to get. Where would be the most safest place to go? I am open to any of the countries. I have 3 weeks vacation. I don't want to waste it at home watching the COVID-19 shows starring Donald Trump. Like that, Brian. That's pretty funny. I don't know. What do you think? You can go anywhere right now.
I don't know right now. You could waste that 2 weeks you could stay at hotel in quarantine, so that's risky. So maybe wait a month or two.
Yeah, I mean, all the places that we go to now in Latin America are pretty much locked down. Colombia, Peru, Costa Rica. Costa Rica is starting to open up, I think, a little bit. So it's possible to do something in Costa Rica. But then Asia, Philippines, you're not going to be able to go to right now. China, no. Then what do you have? You have Thailand. Thailand's a possibility. You might be able to get away with something in Thailand here pretty soon. They're supposed to be opening up here soon. So you may be able to do something in Thailand. Other than that, Ukraine, and that's going to be difficult right now. So, yeah, it's just not easy. Yeah, I like that the guy is speaking facts. We always try to talk about facts. Oh, me? Yeah. Thank you. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Look, we're not going to sugarcoat things for you. We never have in 25 years. I mean, we try to paint as clear of a picture as possible of what to expect when you go over and how it works. And sometimes it's not really what you want to hear, but it is what it is. I was in Ukraine and Kiev. I didn't see any girl that had curvy bodies like Brazilian and Colombian women. Is that possible?
That's not a Ukrainian thing. They're trying to, be slim because that's what local guys appreciate and more. But, and they're going to gyms and watching their diet. So I don't think you'll find, they are there, but most of them are pretty slim.
I agree with that. What Dina said, I think, is spot on. You go to Colombia and the body type is different, and it's a different culture, and that's what the women strive for more there. Whereas, like Dina said, in the Ukraine, the body type is different because the culture is different, and they strive for that there. Very interesting,
Yes.
but that's very true. Yeah. Huh. All right. And our last question of the marriages to Ukrainians, where an American husband moves to Ukraine instead of the wife relocating to the U.S. Haven't seen a ton of marriages where the man relocates to the Ukraine. I've seen a lot more where the man relocates to, say, Costa Rica or to Colombia. or to the Philippines. But off the top of my head, I can't think of too many cases where the man, I mean, Marty, that was in Russia. He moved and lived in Russia when he married his wife there. And I imagine they're still doing fine. That was years ago. But I can't think of too many others that have moved there. Well, actually, the gentleman that we did the whole video on, the story on, that met his wife in Poltava, so he moved there and he's doing very well. Just had a baby with his Ukrainian wife, and he's doing well living there in Poltava. I think many of the women in the Ukraine would want to have their husband move there.
Absolutely, yes. And I hear a lot of girls saying, "Can you move to Ukraine? Maybe leave." And some guys say, "I can move for a year or so." So it's possible. I see it.
Yeah. All right, I'll give Pryzak one more work, because I wouldn't want to have the conversation of who makes the money in the house, and I am man, hear me roar.
Shouldn't be conversation like that at all. There.
Shouldn't be,
so
but
of course you're making money, but it's your job, you know.
All right, guys, look, I really want to thank all of you for being here tonight. Dina did a wonderful job as always.
Thank you for having me.
I am heartbroken about having to cancel the tours that we've canceled, because I think about how many relationships probably would have come out of those tours that just aren't happening right now because we can't do it. And it sucks. But I know it'll get better. I know that we'll be able to do them again. We may have to change it a little bit until it's totally gone, and we may have to adapt. We may have to do more individual things, whatever it is, but we still are going to push you guys to get out of that virtual world and get into meeting the women in person, where all the senses are in play and you can really see if there's chemistry there or not. And so we're still going to be pushing that. We'll deal with the COVID, we'll deal with restrictions, we'll deal with all that. But hopefully soon we'll be able to do that next tour to the Ukraine and the other countries. All right, so hang in there, guys. It'll happen. It will. All right. All right, Dina. Well, thank you so much. Until next time, guys.
Thank you,
Be
guys.
safe.
Good night.
Hello, Yulia. That you came to have a coffee with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you for inviting me for today's interview. Yes, I'm working as a vet, but I hope to meet my future husband, maybe from abroad. That's why I'm here. I love my job, absolutely, because it gives me satisfaction. I like active lifestyle, active lifestyle, way of life.
So you're a really active person.
Yes, I can say
what
that.
do you do for fun?
For fun, I play my guitar, I go hiking, I love camping a lot, especially I adore waking up somewhere at the beach early in the morning and looking how the sun rises.
So you're early bird, you wake up with the sunrise.
Yes, I'm an early riser. I have a dog. In the morning you take him out, and of course in the evening. And this is some sort of responsibility and as I call it, a training camp for my future
For kids.
When
Yes,
I have
it's
them.
a big training camp, trust
Yes,
me.
yes.
Do you like to travel?
I love traveling, yes. It's always nice exploring new worlds, new countries, new people. You learn something new all the time.
What type of the man you need?
As any woman in this world, I want someone reliable, trustworthy, without cockroaches in his head.
We all have cockroaches in head. You know?
Of course, nobody is perfect, and I'm not searching for a perfect person in this world, because I realize that every one of us has their own short legs, drawbacks. I think the most important is communication between two people. If they find common language, they will always succeed, plus common interests. If you look in one direction, it will be easier for you to follow with your partner and to find somebody who will match your criteria.
About your criteria, do you want to have kids? What is your
I have never been married, and of course I'd like to have a full family, but it depends. If my future husband, for example, has children, I'll accept them as mine, and we can always discuss whether we want to have children together, because this is not only my decision. I will discuss it with my future beloved or man who will hopefully want, but we will see. I cannot say no, I want children for sure, or I don't want them. At the moment, I can say that I will
Right now
discuss this with my future.
right now you're enjoying your life and
Yes, I have a dog, so for me, it's my child
you have
already.
somebody to take care of.
Yes, absolutely. And he loves me, and I love him, so it's
What you
important.
can tell to guys who's in the United States right now or all over the world, Australia, United Kingdom, Canada, Europe, New Zealand, guys watching us all over the world, what can you tell them?
I can tell them not to be afraid of coming to Ukraine, because here we are waiting for you to meet. We are all open-minded. We are very warm people. When you is and